We would like to welcome all of you to the Seiling Public Schools Veterans Day Assembly. At this time, I ask that you please take a moment and place your phone on silent. The soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen who serve, defend our liberty, they embody courage, patriotism, and loyalty. These patriots safeguard the values that keep our great nation strong. November 11th is a day we set aside to honor and express our deep appreciation for these brave men and women and their families. We honor our veterans currently serving and who have served in the past. Please stand for the posting of the flags by our FFA members and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and the National Anthem. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you sing by the dawn's early light, what so proudly Honor to the soldier and sailor everywhere who bravely bears his country's cause. Honor, also, to the citizen who cares for his brother in the field and serves, as best he can, the same cause.
We the citizens can sleep peacefully in our beds at night because of the courage of the men and women who have served and currently serve in our military.
Veterans, throughout the year, we watch you salute your leaders, salute the flag, and salute each other. It is a sign of respect and loyalty, gratitude, and trust.
Today, we want to show you our respect, our loyalty, our gratitude, and our trust. We thank you and we honor you.
Veterans, such as you, embody the very values on which this country was founded. President Abraham Lincoln, in his Gettysburg Address, said, "The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here."
President Ronald Reagan said, "We remember those who were called upon to give all a person can give, and we remember those who were prepared to make that sacrifice if it were demanded of them in the line of duty, though it never was. Most of all, we remember
with which all of them ennobled their nation as they became champions of a noble cause.
Today we recognize that being a soldier can be lonely and even frightening this assignment. We are often in perilous situations far away from your family and friends. We are grateful for your bravery and for your service to our country as you protect and defend us.
The Missing Man table is meant to remind us of those fallen, missing, or imprisoned U.S. military service members.
Each item on the Missing Man table represents the emotions and feelings reserved for those who did not come home. The ceremony symbolizes that they are with us here in spirit. All Americans should never forget the brave men and women who answered our nation's call to serve and fight for our freedom with honor.
The following is the symbolism of the Missing Man table. The table is round to show our everlasting concern for our missing men.
The cloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their motives when answering the call of duty.
The single red rose, displayed in a vase, reminds us of the lives of these Americans and their loved ones and friends who keep the faith while awaiting answers.
The vase is tied with a red ribbon, symbolic of our continued determination to account for our missing.
A slice of lemon on the bread plate reminds us of their bitter fate, captured and missing in a foreign land.
A pinch of salt symbolizes the tears endured by those missing and their families who seek answers.
The Bible represents the strength gained through faith to sustain those lost from our country, founded as one nation under God.
The glass is inverted to symbolize their inability to share this morning's toast.
The chair is empty. They are missing. General Douglas MacArthur once said, "Duty, honor, country." Those three hallowed words reverently merely dictate what you ought to be, what you can be, what you will be.
And Winston Churchill honored veterans such as you when he said, "Never was so much owed by so many to so few." The veterans we salute today are the few to whom we all owe so much.
We can never fully repay you for the sacrifices you have made so that we can live the lives we live. But today, we promise to remember you and remember all that you have done for each and every one of us.
Let us express our appreciation to our local veterans for their service to our country and to us. Please stand and join me in a round of applause to honor them.
Dr. Kyle Reynolds is the superintendent of Seiling Public Schools and an education consultant with 30 years of experience in public education, from classroom teacher to IT director and administrator. Kyle married his high school sweetheart, Stacy Oaklander, and they have 2 children and 4 grandkids. He enjoys playing guitar in his church praise band, golfing, working in the yard, grilling, parading with the Shriners, and spending time with family. Dr. Reynolds served in the Oklahoma Army National Guard from 1987 to 1993 and was first stationed with the 2nd 180th TLAT Battalion in Norman, Oklahoma, later transferring to the 1st 179th just west of the Capitol Building in Oklahoma City. He also served on the Governor's Honor Guard, modeling after the Old Guard at Arlington Cemetery, performing military honors for funerals and participating in many ceremonies, including the inauguration ceremonies for Governor Walters in 1991.
Wow, thank you. I remember last year, I'd only been here a couple, 3 months when Veterans Day came around, and I remember sitting in this very assembly thinking, wow, what a tremendous job you guys do of honoring our veterans. And to be asked this year to be a part of it, to be a small part of it, to speak, is a huge honor to me. I've done a lot of speaking. I mean, I've spoken to a lot of groups, big and small. Last week I did a TV show. Can you believe that? But this is a bigger deal to me. This is a much bigger deal. A couple of weeks ago, I met a guy named Colonel Flowers. He lives in Bartlesville. He's an Army veteran. Spent 10 years teaching at West Point. He was a military attaché to diplomats overseas. The guy works with coaches and teams in the NFL, the NBA, SEC. It's kind of a big deal. But he taught me something, and I'd never heard this before. He said, when somebody comes to him and says, thank you for your service, his response every time is, you're worth it. Think about that for just a second, because we don't really know a lot of times what to say. Veterans serve because they serve, because they wanted to serve for whatever reason that was. And veterans don't go out looking for recognition or notoriety or thank yous or anything like that. And I really like that response, because you're worth it. So I was just like any other kid sitting in this auditorium years ago. I grew up just 35 miles northwest of here. And when I got a chance to go to college, I was following my lifelong dream. Since I was a little kid, I wanted to march in the pride of Oklahoma at OU. That was all I was really focused about. I hadn't really decided on my career path. I hadn't decided a lot of things. I did decide early on who I was going to marry. That was another big decision. And that one, I nailed that one too. So I got to OU and I marched in the band with the Orange Bowl a couple of years. But I'm telling you, as a small town kid from northwest Oklahoma, I got a taste of freedom. I got a taste of what it's like not to live under the thumb of your parents, your grandparents, and the watchful eye of a community where everybody knows everybody. And I came to a point where I knew that I needed to do something. Something had to change, because I was not on a very good path. So I'm a guy, like most guys sitting in here, we don't remember a lot of dates, right? We can remember our wife's birthday and our anniversaries and stuff like that. We're doing pretty good. And I rely on my wife and a really good calendar on my phone to keep me lined up. But I tell you, there's one day that I will always remember, a couple of days, December 9th, 1987. And that was the day that I raised my right hand and swore to defend and uphold and protect the Constitution of the United States. And I knew it was a big deal, but I didn't really know how much of a big deal that was going to be. And on January 12th, 1988, I was on an airplane headed to Atlanta, Georgia. By the way, it gets cold in Atlanta, Georgia in the middle of the winter. I thought I was going to be, in sunshine and warmer weather, because there was a foot of snow on the ground when I left here. You learn a lot in basic training. Tears on the pillow that first night, wondering what in the world did you get yourself into. There are a lot of lessons that you learn that affect you the rest of your life, from basic training and on forward as you serve with your brothers in arms. Discipline. It's like they say, you make your bed every day. It's about being disciplined and focused and committed. A really important lesson that I think the military teaches you is how to suffer. Because you're going to suffer. You're going to do without. You're not going to be comfortable all the time. If you've ever heard the phrase, hurry up and wait, that comes from the military, because it seems like hurry, 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 and then you sit around for hours waiting for the next thing to happen. Teamwork. I mean, we learned that in school, right? I mean, a lot of you are a part of different teams or groups or organizations. The FFA, the FCCLA, the choir today, those are teams. And thank you for doing what you've done today to make this assembly special. I remember a great point in my high school career. I was a drum major, and I had this picture in my head when we were competing at a marching band contest, and my really good friend, a trombone player, is coming marching during our show, and I mean, we're giving it our all, and I could see blood dripping down his chin when he's playing his trombone. It's like, that's dedication. That's where you're putting your own suffering aside. But you learn that at the next level when you serve in the military. You learn to push your limits. You learn to do things mentally, physically, that you never thought you could do. And I think that stuck with me for a long time. When we came down towards the end of our time at basic training, I remember the drill sergeant coming to me before our 12-mile road march. 12 miles. We had to walk 12 miles with a heavy rucksack, and weapons and everything. And he came up and said, "Private Rose, I got something I need you to do. I need you to be my M60 gunner on this road march." Boy, did I puff up. I'm like, yeah, ooh, I'm going to be Rambo. That's what that was. Rambo carried an M60. Well, about a mile into that thing, that was not so fun. That thing is heavy, but you learn to put your own suffering aside, to push yourself physically, mentally, and a lot of times all of that happens right here between your ears. She mentioned in my introduction, I was privileged to serve on the Governor's Honor Guard. And when you're standing there at attention, when one of your brothers is being honored and buried that day, and you're doing the 21-gun salute, you stand there a lot. You stand there while the whole thing's going on, right? And if a fly lands on your nose, if you have an itch that you really need to scratch, you don't dare move. And that takes discipline. That takes a lot of training to get used to. And that carries on through the rest of your life. You learn to overcome challenges. Our motto is always adapt, improvise, and overcome. Life is not supposed to be easy. There's nothing anywhere that guarantees you that things are just going to go perfect for you. In fact, that's if you study the Bible, if you study anything you want. Quite the contrary. Things are going to get thrown at you that are going to surprise you and pull the rug out from under your feet. I love the saying, I actually saw this on a shirt recently when one of our opponents we played Shattuck. We beat those guys too. But they had this printed on one of their shirts, and I've seen this for a long time. Crawling is acceptable. Falling is acceptable. Puking is acceptable. Crying is acceptable. Blood is acceptable. Pain is acceptable. But quitting is not. And that's your drive, your motivation to persevere anything that gets thrown at you. Now, that time in my military service was a long time ago, but it's had an impact on me ever since then. And I think something that made a real difference in where I am today, and the fact that I get to stand in front of you today, happened right after midnight on April 15th, 2012. And I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know what I was going to go through, and I didn't know how it was going to affect my personal and professional trajectory. But that night, a tornado came through Woodward. It was right in between prom and the after prom party. And that tornado went right through the middle of our house. I mean, of all the houses, of all the, where the odds. Well, my wife and my son and I weren't there. We were cleaning up after the prom, getting ready to go to after prom. My daughter was in the house, and fortunately, even though she'd only been there about 9 minutes, she was in the basement, in the safe room with our little dog. So she was safe. Our house was gone. And so you can imagine the next morning, I mean, we stayed up all night while it was dark, and the first light, we went over to the house, and it's overwhelming. If you've never gone through that, it's just the most overwhelming feeling because there's so much stuff everywhere. There's so much chaos. Now, if you know who my father-in-law is, you're sworn to secrecy. You can't tell him that I said this, but I got some of the best advice from my father-in-law that morning. About 8 o'clock in the morning, he found a way to get through the barricades and get over to our house. We're standing in the street, we're looking at this mess, and he says, "What's the plan?" I said, "What are you talking about? What is the plan?" "I don't know. Look at this." And fortunately enough, he said, "Okay, I'm going to go get a stock trailer, and we're going to see if we can get some people and try to get what we can out of this to salvage the things that we can salvage. You better call your insurance agent because he kind of needs to know what's going on here. And you better start looking for somebody to build you a new house or you're going to be at the back of the line and it's going to take forever." Like that. I had marching orders. I had focus, I had a drive, and I knew what I needed to do. And fortunately for us, we were in a pretty good spot. You know, my in-laws lived a few blocks away. We had a place to stay. We were safe. We had insurance. But we went to work, and that's all we knew to do. Within 2 days, we had the slab completely cleaned off. We had everything picked up, all the debris removed, and things that we could salvage. We had storage containers for at our relatives' houses. Within 2 weeks, we had engineering and plumber certification that the slab was solid, that we could use that to rebuild our house. We had plans, permit at the city offices to rebuild our house, and we had lumber sitting in the driveway, ready to go again. And 6 months, almost to the day later, even though that seemed like a long time, when you're living with your in-laws for 6 months, that's a pretty long time. We moved back into a brand new house. And what I didn't realize at the time, what I didn't know or understand, was that a lot of people were watching. A lot of people were watching how those of us who were in that path reacted to what happened. And we just buckled down. We were, number one, grateful that we were all okay, because not everybody was that lucky. There were 6 deaths from that tornado. And I can sum that up best. A good friend of mine, just a couple hundred yards away, who also lost his house, was being interviewed on Channel 5. And the interviewer, with him in the foreground and in the background, had his family picking through the rubble. There were 6 people in that house when the tornado took a 2-story house down to nothing more than 5 or 6 feet tall. And she said, "Paul, let me ask you something. Have you found any of your treasures as you sorted through the rubble?" And Paul looked at her and he said, "Lady, those people walking around over there are my treasures. The rest is just bricks and sticks." That's an attitude of gratitude. That's finding one of your worst moments a way to be thankful for what you do have and for what is coming forward. So what I didn't know is that people were watching and saw how my family and I reacted to that. And within a couple of years, all of a sudden I go from a lowly assistant principal in the school to the superintendent of my alma mater, and was able to do that for a little over 9 years. And I look back and think how we reacted to that, and based on how we handled those circumstances, was almost like an interview for me with people in the community that thought, well, if he can do that, he could probably lead our school. But that attitude of gratitude, always come back to that. Colonel Flowers taught at West Point for 10 years, and he kept mentioning the West Point prayer. And if you Google it, it's a pretty long prayer, but there's a really key point in that prayer that I want. It says this: "Make us choose the harder right instead of the easier wrong, and never to be content with a half-truth when the whole truth can be won." Let those words sink in a little bit. Make us choose the harder right instead of the easier wrong. Well, no better thing. Last year when I spoke briefly, and I was wearing another one of my Tilbahala shirts. Tilbahala is a company that is owned and run by veterans, only veterans, and has a great story. And they also support a movement that's called 22 a day. And I'm sure a lot of you out there know 22 a day is the number of veterans who take their lives. Every day, 22 veterans take their lives. And that, for many years, to me, was a noble cause and something that I like to support. I wear a t-shirt, I wear a little wristband here, 22 a day, and worn so long I sometimes forget it's there. But a little over 2 years ago, that became very real to us. My cousin, First Sergeant Jeffrey Shannon, decorated war veteran in the Gulf War, father of 2, husband, he lost his battle. And he succumbed to the demons. Our nation can do more to support our veterans when they come back, to help them figure out how to adjust to life on this side of military service. And I'm convinced of that. To all the veterans in the room, thank you for your service. And on behalf of the veterans here and all over the country, everyone else, you and this country are worth it. Thank you very much.
Okay, the FCCLA would like to invite all our veterans when we close today to join them in the lobby for refreshments. As we close the assembly, I want to thank all of our veterans for their service and sacrifice. Your courage protects the freedoms we enjoy each day. On behalf of Seiling Schools, we honor you and thank you for all you've done for our country. I ask that you please stand as we retire the colors.